So this is the last part of the Matchday 2 World Cup predictions. We're going to do today Group G all the way down to Group L. We're going to do the second games in all of those groups. Going to be predicting them in this video. So let's get started with Group G. Now, Belgium against Iran. Now, Iran in the first game played a very close game in New Zealand, 2-2 draw. Did see some attacking quality there. They, the fact they got anything of everything going on is something for sure. It's going to have a tough game here against Belgium. That was a draw as well, so this group is still wide open. Two really close draws in the opening games in Belgium. First half against Egypt, it was all Egypt. Egypt with a better team. But in the second half, Belgium, they step up. They start having the chances. Once they get the equaliser, they look probably the more likely to grab a winner. But overall, really evenly matched game with Egypt. We saw from Belgium now. I do think Belgium will get the win here. I'm going for 2-1 Belgium in that game. The other game in Group G is New Zealand against Egypt. Now, of course, New Zealand in that first game were that's a very good moments. Obviously, they got the 2-2 draw, and still to this day, New Zealand has never lost a World Cup game. They've played, that was their fourth World Cup game ever, and they've had another draw. They had 3 draws in 2010, went out in third. Do that this time, they might actually have a chance of getting through on the third place team, and I think that's something worth keeping on, because I do think it's not impossible that they could do that. They just seem to be good at keeping the score down. They seem to be good at staying in games. I know England were really poor in that friendly we played against them, but we actually they did that then as well. They seem to know how to keep the score down. They seem to know how to stay in games, and they seem to find a way to get something out of these games. And I thought, even if they're not dominated, or even if they're not creating that many chances, against Iran in a game that was quite evenly matched, they got a 2-2 draw, took the lead twice. So, they definitely can perform to a certain level. Egypt should be the favourites here. I was thinking initially I'll go for an Egypt win there, because very, very good against Belgium. They've got some very good players. Of course, the way they started that game was very impressive, taking the lead. I thought they, and it's not like they fell away in the second half either. It was a very, very evenly matched game. It could have got either way. There's some good players, and not just Salah and Mahmoud Ashir, who was the goal scorer in the first game. Lashin played a very good game as well. So they've got some good players here, Egypt. I just think New Zealand, I think they might find a way to get something out of it again. Now I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw there. So Group H, Spain are playing Saudi Arabia. Now Spain in the first game, underwhelming 0-0 draw against Cape Verde. Cape Verde was a fantastic defensive display, fantastic result, historic result, one of the shocks of all time, shock of the tournament so far, I'd say. However, this is Spain do need to step up in this game. I think they, they left some of the main players on the bench, maybe left it too long to bring some of them on. Just didn't do enough to win the game. They dominated, but just the final end product just wasn't there. This game, they're really going to have to step up. They're going to have to be sharp, and they need to get a win here just to get this tournament going for them, Spain, so they can put that first game behind them. As for Saudi Arabia, though, I think they could have a good tournament as well. They played very well against Uruguay, started the game very well, took the lead in the first half, and it was only late on they conceded the equaliser. I think they've got a good chance of getting out of this group. And I think they're going to give a decent game to Spain. I think Spain might not be quite at their best still in this game, but I think they'll be getting there. I'm going to go for a 2-1 Spain win. After going Group H, Uruguay playing Cape Verde. Cape Verde, as we just sort of spoke about there, them two already kind of with the other teams. Obviously, this group's another one that's wide open, 2 draws in the first game. And I think Uruguay got the late. It didn't start great against Saudi Arabia, but got the late equaliser. They grew into it. There's still something that doesn't seem overly convincing by them, but I still think they've got the potential. I think I'm going to go for. I'm going to say. I think they're going to have to work really hard for this Uruguay, but I think they do get the win. I'm going to go for a 1-0 Uruguay win. I think Cape Verde will defend well again, like they did against Spain. It's going to be a tough one, but Uruguay have got to get the win here. They can't go out in the group again. Now, moving on to what should we do next? Let's do Group I, where France are taking on Iraq. Now, Iraq in that first game made it a real contest against Norway. It was very close for a while, but ultimately Norway won 4-1 in the end. They did find that bit of extra quality, that quality Norway have got shone through in the end. France took a while to get going. Not a good first half against Senegal, but in the second half they really did get going. We saw how dangerous they are. We know how many good attacking options they've got, the amount of quality they've got in the attack. Probably, you could argue, the best attack out of any national team in terms of the attack. I think they'll win this one 2-0. Going to go for France 2-0 win. Norway are playing Senegal. Now, this will be a close game. This should be close. Senegal, very good in the first half against France. Didn't take the chances though. Going up, we know that they have got a lot of quality. They could do something in this game. Norway, they are, they're on such a good run at the moment. The qualifying was fantastic. The first game was fantastic as well. They were, very clinical in front of goal against Iraq in the 4-1 win. It's going to be a close one. I just think Norway are in a very good place at the moment. And I do really rate Norway's chances to do well at this tournament. So I'm going to go for a 2-1 Norway win there. Group J, Argentina playing Austria. Austria are good in the first game against Jordan. They was given a close game, but they were very good in that game. And they got the win, got the guy over the line in the end, and they were, a strong performance, which is something they've, a team that has underachieved in the past. It's good to see. They're going up against the Argentina team here that, maybe could have been different if Messi got sent off. Maybe could have been different if Algeria's goal wasn't chalked off early on, but ultimately in the end they destroyed Algeria. Fantastic performance from Messi individually, whether he should have been on the pitch or not, going in that second half. Comfortable win for Argentina. It's going to be a close game though. I think Austria are a good team and I think it's going to be a close game. I think Argentina will get the win though, 2-1. Jordan against Algeria, it's going to be close. That's the other game in this group. Jordan giving a really good game to Austria. It was really tight for most of the game and they had some very good moments. Algeria, like I say, they had that good moment, decent start against Argentina, but it fell apart in the end. I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw there though. Group K, Colombia are playing the Congo. The Congo were fantastic in the way they defended against Portugal. And as the game went on, they started to create a lot of chances of their own. Matched them. They could have won it at the end. They could have the first ever World Cup point. The equaliser was fantastic header, fantastic use of the set piece. Something they could definitely look to do again. Because when Uzbekistan, they did have some good moments against Colombia, but overall Colombia was a very, very strong opening performance. I think it's going to be a very close game. The one that Colombia are going to have to work very hard in, but I do think Colombia get the win just 2-1. Portugal against Uzbekistan. Portugal have got to sharpen up. They've got to start moving the ball quicker. They've got to start going for it more. I think they'll get the win here, but Uzbekistan had some good moments against Colombia. They won't be a pushover. I'm going for 2-1 to Portugal. Portugal need to start getting towards their best at some point soon. Now the last group, Group L, England playing Ghana. Now, of course, England won the first game, was fantastic in that second half. Great, tactically from Tuchel was fantastic as well. Subs he made, how he managed the game. First half, Croatia, they had their good moments as well, and they scored good goals. Defensively, was a bit all over the place, but in the second half, we really tightened up. We really saw the quality going forward, and it was overall a very strong opening performance. Ghana, I thought, weren't the better. I thought Panama were the better team overall against Ghana. Ghana just stepped up in a big moment right at the end of the clinical and won the game. So it's going to be tough, I think, to see for Ghana here. I do think England will get the win. I'm going to go for 3-1 England win. And now for Croatia and Panama. Like I said, Panama better side I thought overall against Ghana, but didn't have the final ball just wasn't there, and they ended up losing the game in the end, which was a shame for them. Croatia, very good in the first half against England. They had a lot of good attacking moments, good goals they scored. Still think they'll be good to get out of this group, so I'm going to go for a 2-0 Croatia win against Panama. So that is the final match day 2 predictions. So we'll see how all these games go over the coming days from now up until Tuesday. Some big teams didn't perform as well as expected in the opening game, so there's a lot of pressure on some teams in these second games. I'll be interested to see how many of the teams that surprised in the first set of games can keep those good runs going as well. So we'll see how this all pans out.